I made a sample with AI, and I hate to admit it, but it's fire. But before I let you hear it, I want to explain how I did it. So back in December of 2022, I started hearing a lot about this AI tool called ChatGPT. And in case you've been living under a rock and you've never heard of ChatGPT, it's essentially an AI chatbot that uses natural language processing, which enables it to have incredibly human-like conversations with its users. It can also generate things like full essays, recipes, even sermons, quoting scripture and everything. Trust me, I've tried it. It's wild. But then I got to thinking, what if I use it to generate things like chord progressions? Yeah, so here's what I did. I logged into ChatGPT and I told it, write a chord progression for a 70s Philly soul record. And here's what it spit out. One possible chord progression for a 70s Philly soul record could be A minor 7, D7, G major 7, and C major 7. And not only did it spit out the chord progression, but it even gave me some additional context and instructions on how to turn this chord progression into something that actually sounds more like a 70s Philly soul record. Here's what it said. This progression uses 4 chords in the key of C major and has a classic soulful sound that is characteristic of the Philly soul genre. The A minor 7 and D7 chords add a minor tonality to the progression, while the G major 7 and C major 7 chords provide a strong, stable foundation. And then it proceeded to give me another chord progression with even more context, but you get the idea. It not only does it just give you an answer, but it also knows all this context about what makes Philly soul, which is wild. The first thing I did was I opened a Rhodes patch just so I could go on my keyboard and play those chords together to see if they actually sounded any good. So the 4 chords we got were A minor 7, D7, G major 7, and C major 7. Played them all together. So once I heard the chords, I was hyped. And believe it or not, it's not something that I would have actually thought about on my own. It was something that was unique, a little bit different for me and what I would have normally played, but I really like it. So then I started thinking, what if I make guitar be the foundation? And so instead of playing the chords straight out, which I am not a guitar player, I absolutely suck. So I literally had to play each chord one by one, and I kind of comped it together. But instead of just playing everything straight out, I decided to strum each note like an arpeggio. And I really wanted to give it a 6/8 kind of swing feel to make it really sound like Philly soul. So that's what I did. So I got a Rhodes, which is like a stage 73 from Arturia. Add a little bit of sauce to it, give it some kind of, tape warble effect. And then I play some chords to complement the guitar. I didn't want to play exactly what the guitar was doing. I wanted to have something that kind of sit under and really support the guitar part. Dope. So again, I'm hype. I love it. What do I do next? I decided to add a bass line. So you can see here, my trusty dusty jazz bass. I want to not only give it some feel, I wanted to emphasize that 6/8 time signature, but yeah, I just wanted to give it a dope foundation, something simple, not doing too much. And I used a foam pad. Maybe I can show you, because I'm not the best yet at palm muting. Here you go. I actually have this foam mute thingy on the bridge. I have a neck strap, if you can see that right there. And I basically turned the tone all the way. Here's my tone switch. I'm only using the neck pickup. So just so I get all the fat and nothing else. And because I was able to dial the tone in so well with my guitar, I really didn't have to use a lot of processing, which is a tip for you. Get the right tone, you don't have to do a lot of post-processing and stuff like that. I literally just used the CLA bass. Yeah, some EQ here, a little bit of compression, a little bit of distortion, and this is like a chorus widener, very subtle, but that's what I used. So then I decided to go back to ChatGPT. What else did it tell us to do? It said, both of these progressions would work well in a 70s Philly soul record and could be further enhanced with additional instrumentation and vocal melodies. I thought the progression sounded pretty melancholy, so I started thinking about rain, and I decided to sing the phrase rainy days. I did one vocal where I'm just kind of singing rainy days. Rainy days. Rainy days. Rainy days. So once I sung that, I thought it would be cool if I did some call and response stuff, but added harmony to the response. So here's how that went. Rainy days. Rainy days. Rainy days. Rainy days. And of course, what would a Philly soul record be without strings? So I decided to add some strings. And one really neat trick that I did to kind of give it that falling sound was I automated the pitch on the plugin. So if you come here to the automation, I'm gonna use global tune. You can see that right there. So towards the end of these chords, I just kind of dipped it down. So normally it's at 1, and then I just dipped it down ever so slightly towards, you know, the end of that chord going into the next chord to give it this sound. Sounds kind of weird in isolation, but it sounds dope in the actual sample. So here's the finished product. A fire 70s Philly soul inspired sample written by artificial intelligence. Now this sample is actually a part of a full sample pack called Fireplace 4. The link for that is in the description if you want to check that out and support what we do at Pelham Jr. But I seriously want to know, what do you think about this explosion in creative AI? Are you for it? Are you against it? Do you think this is the beginning of the end for creatives like you and me? Or do you think it's just another tool in the arsenal that will ultimately make us better? Let us know in the comments below. Actually, I'm thinking about maybe doing more content like this, experimenting with different tools like AI. Let me know if you think that's a good idea as well. If you thought this video was dope, please consider liking and subscribing. I'm Jay Pelham with Pelham Jr. Peace.